Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Well, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And tonight we have a really special show because we have Matt Bay from Old Bay Signs on. We're going to be talking about the really unique signs that he is doing and he is making, and ones that you can get from him, and the story of how he got there, which we also take very seriously because all of us have had some type of issue with that in the past, and we wanted to talk about and discuss that just because it is important to do that as well too, because most of the time we're all just a lot of fun and games, but there is some real life, and it's good to cover that from time to time. But Matt, I want to thank you so much for being here and bringing your expertise with your signs and letting everyone see them and have a chance to actually purchase them if they ever want to. Thank you so much for being here, Matt.
Man, thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
We do. And thank you, everyone, for in the chat for being on time. I really appreciate that, too. I see Ice House is out there. He won that 72 Old Crow. So I know there's a few of you out in the chat that are jealous of him for that one. It's good to see you, Emily. Good to see you, Renita. And I think I saw Wheels out there, too, a little bit earlier as well, too. So good. What are you guys drinking out there? And Matt, I know I sent you a couple of samples. I'm just going to say I think you should start with the Rocknar Rye. I think that out of the ones there, that one should probably be the first one. Hey, Mitch Weddle, it's good to see you. Oh, and good to see him. And just as we're starting out the show, as Matt's pouring that, we are going to be in Mitch's neck of the woods. We're going to be in the Louisville. Well, we're going to be in Kentucky. I won't even say we might just be sleeping in Louisville. We're going to be in the area this coming weekend. So if we're out there, we're going to, we'll try to hit you up. We'll try to hang out with you, let you know where we're going. Maybe we'll get a chance to see you. But we will be posting stuff from wherever we go throughout the weekend to kind of bring everyone in on what's going on. So hopefully, I don't know, we'll see, get some of your responses from what we're doing. But hopefully it's not all jackassery, but you never know. It could be. So the one we started you with, Matt, is from Far North Spirits, and it's one of their special ryes because they actually did a seed series where they plant 15 different ryes in 1 acre plots, cultivate it, and then kind of make something out of it to see if it's where they want to go. So this is one of their ryes, and then they finished in a cognac barrel. So light, a little more playful than Matty Gladden and a Rua Port, who might grab you and shake you around a little bit. But Matt, what were you doing in life? I know you were a fighter. How long were you a fighter?
I actually started fighting fire when I was about 16 years old. On a volunteer fire department. I grew up in a rural area in St. Clair, Missouri, and started out there with some buddies and got the bug for it. And later down, a few more years down the road, got hired in the suburbs of St. Louis City. Got hired on a department there. I did 25 plus years at that department.
And I want to thank you for your service, because that is an incredible amount of time to be serving the community. I mean, especially from when you're 16 until now, that is a lot of dedication when there's a lot of other avenues to go in life. So we appreciate your service to everyone in general. Mm-hmm. Now, from serving in that, there are a lot of issues and scenes and kind of traumas that can happen or you can be witness to, because I know one of my friend's dads was an EMT for about 25-30 years, and he was trying to cover for everybody for a while, and then they finally put him on like a 2-weeker and turned into a month sabbatical because he needed it and didn't even realize he was in the middle of it. And I know this might be a little bit tough, but do you mind talking a little bit about what happened to you in that section, Matt? So,
Yeah, no problem. And I do say, and I say this in almost every podcast I've done or whatever. If I stop for a minute, please forgive me. I didn't, kind of like your buddy's dad, I didn't realize what was even going on, to be honest with you. And it just started getting harder and harder, and a lot of nightmares. I was having a lot of nightmares, a lot of flashbacks, stuff like that. In November of 2018, I had a breakdown. It was pretty bad. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and found myself standing at a gate to get on the plane to come to St. Louis, and it wasn't happening. There was no way I couldn't do it. And my wife wound up having to fly down. Rented a car. I couldn't even be in the car. If you didn't get out of the state of Georgia, I couldn't be in the car. I had to get out. Wound up at a hospital in Georgia, and they gave me some medicine. I woke up in St. Louis. Yeah. And then, of course, then, I've been therapy and all that since November of 18. And when all that happened, it took me out at that point. I haven't been back at the firehouse since.
Well, and the reason I know that's is really important, and why I want to talk about it is because I had issues similar to that. I didn't a few years ago. I had no idea what an anxiety attack or a panic attack really was. There was a point where I thought I had like an over amount of gas and I was having a hard time breathing. Then I was driving someplace with my wife. My right arm went numb. My left arm went numb. Then my face started getting tingly. I was like, it's time to go to the hospital. I thought I was having a heart attack. And I didn't realize what was all going on or had built up to that point. Looking back, there's obviously some factors that I would have changed, but I didn't realize, I didn't pick up on all the cues at that point. And it was really debilitating for a while, and it takes a while to get used to. I still have issues when I drive from time to time.
I do as well.
A couple months ago, I was driving, and don't ask me why, but I couldn't turn right on this road, and I was like, "Huh, what the hell?" And then it just welled up inside of me. I pulled off to the left because I had both my arms went numb again. So right. It is just something that happens, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about happening to themselves or other issues throughout life, because it's something real, and it takes a while to get past, and it's I don't know, it's just an issue. I think a lot of people bypass until it happens to them, and then they hear it happen to someone else, and then they start making that connection with what's going on and how that happened. But I think that there's a lot of it that sometimes I would be considered dismissive from a lot of people, and I really don't. What I want the most is people to take away is don't be dismissive of what people are thinking or saying or feeling at that moment, because you might not have control of your body at that point. And it sounds dumb, but I mean, that does happen. When you said you couldn't get on the plane, there's been a point where I was like, that's it, we're stopping, or we got to pull over. I'm not going any further right now. And even in my head now, sometimes I'll play like, I don't have a good reason for this at this moment, but it's what's going on, So I
was the same way, exactly.
So once you were getting through some of the issues and stuff like that, how did you come through that, working into making signs that you are today?
So it was so in November of 18, when I had my breakdown, once I got home and struggled, I was in a very, very dark place, and I can tell you that's fine. Suicidal. And I'll say this too. I was also an EMT, right? We were firefighter EMT. And when we would run those calls, actually I ran those calls, right? And I can remember saying, I don't get it. I don't understand. Why can't you, your brain, why are you thinking this? What's going on? Stop it. But you're right. You're absolutely right. You have no control over that. And I didn't understand it either until it happened to me. And let me tell you, brother, when I got diagnosed, so I was diagnosed in 18. I was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And none of that made sense, and I didn't understand it at all. It actually wound up taking some military guys to tell me, listen, bro, it's okay, number one. And the military guys would say, I've done 2 tours, I've done 4 tours. Yeah, I've seen some messed up stuff, but you've been doing this your whole life. And it really took those guys telling me that it's okay to be, oh, okay, I just got to make me better. And whatever that is, I had to make me better. So like I said, I didn't get off the couch. The blinds were drawn. The house had to be black. I was in a bad place. And it was my wife, man. It was really my wife. One day she said, hey, man, you see on people's porches the welcome signs, right there at the front door, the tall welcome signs. She said, can you make me one of those? And I'm like, all right. I mean, I didn't have nothing else to do. So I went out to the garage and I started with a scroll saw and I started making those things. And then that was okay. It wasn't very good. And then a buddy of mine, Josh, he lives down in Soulard, his historic Soulard, and he bought that place, and I wanted to make him a sign. So I had some pallet wood, and I made him a sign. It's actually on my website and everything. You can see it, and it's a St. Louis City flag. And I did it with a Dremel tool, right? Well, that wasn't easy, and those bits are like $8 a piece, and I was flying through them, man. There's got to be an easier way than this. And so I started doing some search on YouTube, and I found actually this guy's hat I'm wearing, Eric Roden at makeawoodsign.com. I found his channel, and he teaches you how to carve signs with a router, with a hand router.
Okay.
So I started watching his videos. I'm like, oh, that's it right there. I got to get one of those. So I got a router and started making signs, and then it was it was family and friends, and it was another part of that time of my life that I didn't. It was a lot of it was really fuzzy, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. That whole period was just kind of fuzzy, and my family and friends. I didn't even realize what my wife was doing. I didn't realize what my family and friends were doing. But he's on right now. That's Eric Roden. Hi, Matt. Hi, Eric. So it was a time in my life where I didn't realize, but they were helping me is what they were doing, right? Mm-hmm. They were giving me something to do. And it was literally get off the couch, go do something. You have to get off this couch and start living your life again, because my life just stopped. Mm-hmm. And of course, like I said, you guys, being a fireman all your life, and that's gone. What's now? What's next? What's my tomorrow? I had no purpose, right? My livelihood was gone, and well, I started making signs, and it just keeps growing. So, who knew?
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. When you started doing this, and you got into the whiskey part.
Yeah.
One, I'm curious, how did you get started in making the whiskey related signs, and have you gotten into any kind of a supplier partnership to get barrels?
Yeah. So it didn't come early. I've only actually been doing them for about a little over a year, right? Okay. I started with Eric at Make a Wood Sign, right? And everything was cedar fence pickets, small signs. Mm-hmm. That was boring to me, so I had to go bigger, right? I had to do some bigger stuff. And then I started making some bigger, just plain wood signs. And then a friend of ours, she asked me to make a sign for her husband. He's a big Four Roses fan, and he wanted the Mark Twain quote. You guys seen that? He wanted the Mark Twain quote and I said, "Oh man, that's awesome." I said, wouldn't it be cool if we put it on a whiskey barrel? And she's like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome. Can you do that?" I go, "Give it a try." So I went down to a little home store down the street here, and they had a bunch of barrels sitting out front, and I went and got one, and that was my very first one. And to be honest with you, that's all I've done since is whiskey barrels. But they were old Jack Daniels barrels that they had sitting out front. Terrible barrels, but they were, because they were sitting out front. They were hard to work with.
Yeah.
Now that I know that, but as far as like a supplier type thing, I'm St. Louis Bourbon Society. I joined them, and one of the founders, Andrew Costner, he's a barrel broker. He has a barrel business. He makes furniture, and he gets a lot of his barrels, and so I got a couple from him, and so much easier. The better barrels are worth the time, believe me. So yeah,
that's cool. What is that one? All right. So what do you think of the Rocknar Rye?
I like it. You know, it's kind of funny that you sent me a rye because, and I got to be very honest with you guys. I'm really new to bourbon too, right? And I'm drinking more and more. Well, that sounds terrible. I'm drinking a lot.
We know how bad that sounds because when we say it, it sounds like that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm finding myself liking more rye, and I don't really know a lot about rye. Of course, I know what it is, but I find myself liking more rye. So yeah, I dig this one.
Yeah. We just thought that the extra cognac barrel finish was something different, and what Mike's doing up there is really unique. And I know we got an email from them. I just haven't gotten to read it today. It sounded like they were doing another series or something else, so they got some other neat stuff coming out from them. But it was out of all the ones you're having, it's kind of a light, playful rye where it's not super aggressive on you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. That's the Bourbon Society. We just did a tasting with Steve Combs. It was a food pairing with Steve Combs and Freddie No, and they had actually I got it right here, the Knob Creek rye.
Yep.
And I tell you what, man, I really enjoyed that too.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm a real big Knob Creek fan, but that rye I really liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it is good rye.
Excuse me. All right, now I don't know if you want to move on to another one or not.
Man, I'm ready, bro. Let's go.
we don't want to keep you on too long tonight. Like we don't want you to too many people, but I also don't want you to. Well, we don't care if you slam all 4 drinks in an hour. We just want you to maybe slow down after that.
No, the Blues are playing. I gotta go up to the bar and meet my wife.
All right,
real good.
And
I also saw that was aged for 16 months.
Yeah.
And what, a 15-gallon barrel?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They're just doing different stuff up there. But it is a hike to go see them, so I don't know if they're quite on the list yet. I mean, if you're so close to Canada, I don't know if they'll let you come back.
Wow.
And Mitch is drinking some Knob Creek right now, so I'm sure he agrees with us on that one if he's got it poured. So hold on here. Now I got some of the other signs that you've been working on, and do you want to talk about the Jack Daniels one? Because I have this one up, and this one I thought was just really sharp. I love that the different thickness of lines that you have going on with this and the contrast. It's something. Stuff like this is something you should be seeing in your home bars if you're going to be doing one, because there are so many of them. And I'll be honest, so many other whiskey reviewers that feel that they have to be inside this fake mecca around them. This is something you should be having in it anyways. This stuff is really, really cool, and it sets the tone for where you're in. But how did you come to make this one?
That one is another. It was actually another one. I didn't have any work to do at that time, and I'm like, I'm gonna make something I can sell. And then so I made it. I posted it, and Jack Daniel Squire hit me up and said that he wanted it. So the background, I was just telling these guys beforehand. The background is at Cyberg's here in St. Louis. It's a family restaurant, and I stayed in the sign. And we're walking out, and I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute, bring that back here. We got You got to put that on picture with that backdrop. So that's how that got to be.
I was trying to, but I can't get it that big. I was just trying to cheat.
What's that?
I was just trying to cheat and make it big, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun to carve. That was probably, man, as far as whiskey barrels go, that was probably the most intricate one. And you know, I'm not a one horse. What is it? One pony show or something? You know, I do other signs. I will still do flat signs.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, today with the prices of lumber, man, it's tough.
But I was going to get into that here. Just with the price of wood in general, would it be cheaper just to do the whiskey barrels in general?
I'm going to say no.
No. Okay. I like definitive answers.
Nobody else needs to do these. Yeah. Well, did you happen to see the Cass Haley sign I did?
Which one was it?
Cass Haley.
Let me see. I got a couple of them on here. So
it's that's a barrel. No. You probably got all barrels.
I probably got. Yeah, I do have all barrels on here. Sorry.
Yeah, on my website. If you go on my website, there's I did one for Cass Haley. He was on America's Got Talent. He's a singer-songwriter. He was on America's Got Talent, and he won the Lincoln, the car Lincoln, their singer-songwriter challenge. If you guys have seen a Lincoln commercial anytime within the last year, you've seen it. Anyway, I did a 4 foot by 4 foot cedar sign for him, and the center of it is a henna art. They have a friend who does henna art, and it was for his farm. It's called Big Hope Farm, and he took pictures of all the stuff from the farm, and she made that logo for his farm. And so the center of that sign, I mean, it's huge. It's 4 foot by 4 foot. That sign, it took me probably, I think it was almost 12 hours of carving just on the center of it. So yeah.
That sounds like a really cool sign, though. I mean,
man, it is a really cool one. It's funny though, you know, when I'm doing these signs like this, it's oh man, that's my favorite. And then you do another one, that's my favorite. You're like your children, man. You can't have a favorite.
About how much time do you have in each one? Do you have like an average, or are they pretty?
No, not really. To be honest with you, it really just depends on what goes into it. Like the Jim Beam one, I've probably got about almost 30 hours in that one. They could be 12. They could be, you know, who knows? It just depends on how much goes into them.
Hey, Ben, I just got this thing popping up. Did you do this?
Yes, that's the sign he was just talking about. Pull that up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's Cass and his wife and kids. I actually took, they live in Texas, in Paris, Texas. And I got to take it down there to his house and meet him, and they took us out to dinner and everything. It's really cool.
Yeah, that does look sharp. All right, let's bring. I just didn't know what you were doing, Ben. I wasn't sure if you were cheating or you're listening to Emily and someone was putting up something, and I'm like, I don't trust anyone at this point. I don't know what the hell's going on.
So what are we doing next, Patrick?
Okay, I know you had the Rua, and I know you have Maddie Glad. And what was the other? Was there another one I sent
Montgomery.
you? Do that one next. We'll do Montgomery County next.
Yes.
And that one is a Wood Hat Spirits.
I like Wood Hat.
And Mike,
Gary would be a good one to do a barrel for.
Well,
because he's got connections for barrels
and wood.
You know, I don't know. I've not met any of the craft distilleries here in Missouri, which you guys know we have a lot of good ones. Yeah. I've not met any of those guys. Still 630 and Adam Stump over at Stumpy's, and those guys. I've talked to them. All right, listen. I'm guerrilla marketing 101, man. I hustle every day, every morning. I get up and I have coffee, and I'm trying to get myself out there every day. I went on the Missouri Distillers Guild website, and found every one of the distilleries, got their logo, mocked them up, and emailed everyone in Missouri.
Nice.
So it's out there. I just haven't got to work yet.
Okay. But yeah, we'll have to pick on Gary because he should be into that because of his wood hats. And he should be right up his alley.
One of his hats.
Those hats are sweet.
They are.
they're pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
So what kind of time do you usually put into an average sign? How much from start to finish does it take you on those?
Well, like I said, it's really just a matter of what it takes. Now, the carving, right? I can tell you, just when I get them, I get a barrel, right? I got a barrel. I tear the barrel down and then do a glue up. I glue them all back together.
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to kick Ben's extra string out, and I kicked Ben out. So I have to text him to let him know he can come back.
Hey, Ben, don't ask another question. You're out.
That's right. So, yeah, I was going to ask you about your marketing because clearly you're a one-man operation, but you're just hustling and showing by an example on everything that you're doing. And one thing in which people need to understand, he's not using a CNC machine.
No.
Right? These are all by hand with a router. There's no extra technology involved. So there's some hand craftsmanship on these signs.
Well, Mike, I want to clarify something because somebody else pointed out. I do. Well, as a matter of fact, I'll show you what I'm doing right now. Let me move this. I'm doing one for Old Elk for their tasting room. I've been working with them, which is really funny because the hustle, right? I'm connected with anybody I can in the bourbon world, and I've connected with a lot of people. And I sent a message to the head distiller. Gosh darn it.
Greg Mays, I think, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah, I know. Dang it. Kate Douglas. I sent a message to her and on, I don't know, Instagram or LinkedIn or something like that. And she said, I will pass it on to my team. And she kept her promise. She did. She passed it on. Next thing I know, Sarah Crumpet hit me up. And they said, yes, we want one for our tasting room in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm like, right on. So now to get back to what you were saying, Mike, this is the one I'm doing for them. Well, kind of. So this, I want to show you the comparison of size. You can't even see the beam one. This is a massive. It's about 5-6 days.
Nice.
And then, so just what I was saying, Mike, is I do use a vinyl cutter, which changed the game for me. Actually, it allows me to do these intricate signs. So I lay the vinyl on top, right? I'll spray it. Once it's on, the vinyl's on, I'll spray it with a flat black paint. And that leaves me the image, and that's how I carve.
Okay.
But all my signs are carved by hand with a router. This will have the Old Elk logo on this side.
Okay, that's going to be pretty badass when it's done. Are they going with like a dark? I don't even know what they're doing. Are they going with a darker stain to the wood on that one, or are they going lighter?
No, I believe we're going with with just like the Bourbon Society one.
Okay.
So what I do, like what I was saying before, when the barrel's tore down, I glue them all the staves together. Well, you guys know how when the barrels, when they sit, they dry out and one's higher than the other. So it's just sanding to get it back to form the barrel shape. It takes me about 2.5-3 hours of sanding.
Yeah.
Well,
That's work.
It's back down to that oak. It's almost like a brand new oak barrel at that point.
Mm-hmm.
All that char off the back of it and all that.
Well, and you got to do that because, like you said, like the difference of shrinkage, especially after they let the barrels go for a while, can be quite significant. I mean, there's a reason some of the bands just fall off on some of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've also found with the more I do them, actually, when I started getting them Jim Beam barrels from Andrew at Bourbon Society, because I would just knock them all apart and then just pick out pieces. Well, now I number them from the bunghole stave all the way around. So when I put them back together, they're exactly the way they were when they were on the barrel.
Okay.
And that made it a lot easier too.
Nice.
Yeah. Man, whoa, this is great.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
That's a good in with Gary too. If you go there, just say, number one, I really like your whiskey. Number two, look at this.
And the barbecue grill.
Yeah.
Oh,
that grill.
yeah.
That grill is amazing.
That thing is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go there to see the distillery, but I also want to bring food to cook out on it. Like, what are you doing here? I'm using your grill, Gary.
I'll tell you what, you guys ever get to St. Louis, you got to come. You come by my house, and I'll smoke some meat for you too. I actually have a 1950s Philco refrigerator. I converted into a smoker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It probably holds the
Nice.
temperature pretty good.
it holds it really good. Yeah, you pretty much set it and it's done.
Yeah.
No, I like Wood Hat. We did that blind a blind tasting with the Bourbon Society a couple weeks ago, and we had the Rubenesque,
Yeah.
the Boston Bond.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Yeah,
I
was like,
have.
man,
That's
if
good.
you guys have never seen that place, it's a small place. Where do they have a bottled and bond place at? And apparently, I guess he has one shipping container, that is actually bonded.
Yeah.
And he's bottled and bond.
I love that part. It's like, yep, I got a shipping container out back, and that, like you said, this is the bottled and bond section.
Yep. It was really funny.
Oh no, that's
And what a great story that is too. That's what I really like about bourbon is I like the history. I like the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, and there is no bad bourbon. I truly believe that. My taste is different than yours. I'm not a snob. I'm too new to be a snob, but I'm going to like what you don't like, and you're going to like what I don't like. And why do we have to argue about that?
Yep.
But
I'll agree like 98%. There's about 2% that we've found that are bad that I think we could convince you are bad.
I have some of them that I don't like. I'm not saying there ain't some I don't like.
No, I think we've met a couple that are going to be universally thumbs down because they're a little scary. If we ever do come there, I'll bring a small bottle of something that's off limits. I won't let you drink, but I'll only let you smell, and that should be enough. That should be enough to clear you on one of them. It's
No, I like. What I like about, like we were talking about before with Wood Hat and Iron Root and those guys using the different types of corns and different types of rye and the farm to bottle. I dig that, man. That is really cool. It gives some personality to the brand.
And it's a different flavor than what you're typically getting from a lot of people. And it may not be dramatically different, but you can tell some of the different flavors when that like there's almost a different rye or a different malt. Something's wrong. I don't want to say wrong, but something's not standard when you have them. And
Right.
I love that part.
Right.
That's what gets my brain spinning. What the hell did you do? It really starts moving that area.
That's why I like going to like a whiskey bar. I know we talked about Bourbon's Bistro before in Louisville, Jason Bronner's. And have you guys had any of his what is the Buzzard's Roost?
Buzzard's Roost. Yeah, I've got the toasted barrel.
Oh man,
That's
my
excellent.
favorite.
Yeah.
We were out there, and he, like I said, he is just a super nice dude. And I met up with him and Bernie Lovers, and we were sitting there, and Jason let us me and my buddy do a tasting of all the Buzzard's Roost, and of course the toasted barrel was my favorite, right?
Yeah.
And literally, I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was Mike, the bartender, Mike. And Mike goes, I said, "Hey, Mike, I want a bottle of that." He goes, "I just sold the last bottle."
Oh,
You're killing me, dude. And I got a hold of Jason. He's like, man, you're going to have to wait till fall.
Man, no.
Renito was saying you have to know the taste of bad whiskey to know good whiskey when you try it. That's true, but there's a lot of.
What was it, Renita? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've had bad whiskey. No. I'm just saying what my tastes are ain't going to be the same as yours, and that's fine.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to see us jump on any. I mean, we may razz someone a bit, but we're not really jumping on anyone for whatever your preference is.
Well, for me, I mean, like I said, I'm pretty new to bourbon, right? And I'll tell you, the first time I ever had it, we were in Louisville. I went on a trip with my wife. She actually had a work conference, and I got to go with her instead of the vice versa. And it happened to be Louisville, and I'm like, heck yeah, man. We went to this place, and they're like, what would you want? And I don't even remember the name of the bar, but every bar in Louisville has a ton of bourbons. And they said, what are you drinking? I'm like, I drink 7 and 7. That's what I drink. And they made me something up. Well, that's when I got turned on to Angel's Envy. And it's my favorites, and I bought a bottle there for $89 because I didn't know, can I even get this in St. Louis? I have no idea. Yep. I got back and Randall's had it for $39.99. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
Did you do the one where you got to bottle it yourself though?
No.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that would have been it. I'm like, at least you might have gotten that extra little memory thing with it.
No, this was at like some boutique little shop thing. And I saw it and I'm like, oh, I got to have that. Yeah, well, it is what it is.
I've made that mistake myself.
But you've got a good whiskey story to go with it,
Yeah,
absolutely right. Yeah,
you found your whiskey that you liked, and
when we were doing that tasting with Freddie No the other night and Basil Hayden, I like Basil Hayden, and I think it's a great starter bourbon. I've got friends who didn't drink bourbon who drink bourbon now started on Basil Hayden. It's a great starter bourbon, and. Well, I say starter. I still like it. I love it. So
it's probably the most universally liked between the group of my friends. Now, most of them aren't super into it, but it's something that all of them will be like, "Oh, I'm happy to have this." There's no complaining or anything at any point. And like you said, it is a wonderful starter whiskey. That's one of the ones that I, for a while, would start people with on. If you're getting into it, it's not heavy. It just has nice light flavors. It's not aggressive. Yeah. And you even a novice I think can sip on it or drink it with ice without having it be an issue. It goes down pretty smooth. I know that's a fucked up word. Everyone hates it. I don't give a shit. It's smooth.
Right. No, it's true. And whatever, But it's a great one to build on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lower proof, and brother, I know there's some here that's going to go whoo. But what did we have the other night with Freddie, and it was Booker's Country Ham.
Oh,
and I was like, "Whoo, my God!" But the flavor was so good, and I just kind of snuck off and went bloop, a little drop of water, perfect.
Yep.
That high proof, I'm just not there yet.
Well, okay. Then on the next on the next two. Well, the next one, I'll say we do the Matty Gladden would be the next one I would maybe float to. That one's only 50%, but it does have a flavor punch to it.
Yes.
So that one,
some of those I have had, like some of the higher proof ones that you would never know it was a high proof.
Oh,
yep.
The light whiskey, the 13-year-old light whiskey from Obtanium that we tried that was like 73% alcohol. It was like 45, and then I didn't even realize I was getting buzzed up to like an hour later when I was upstairs after the show. I started to sweat. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Oh yeah, I had a decent amount. I didn't realize it this evening.
A lot of Iron Root, their higher proof stuff is like that as well. It's got a dense flavor punch, but the proof, you don't feel like you're drinking 120, 130 proof whiskeys. It feels like you're down in the 100, 105, something like that, and it's so dangerously sippable.
and And Emily's warning you that Maddie doesn't play around. So
No.
Thanks, Emily.
Maddie doesn't take no disrespect.
I think I tried some of that yesterday. The Bourbon Society, St. Louis Bourbon Society, we had a little meetup down at Tower Grove Park. And that's cool too. And I think people should, if you're getting into bourbon, start finding those bourbon societies. The St. Louis Bourbon Society, them guys are cool as hell. And I went down there yesterday at a little park, and dude, there was Bookers, there was Stag, everything you could think of. There were 60 bottles, and everybody's like, try it out. Try them out.
Yeah.
What a to just camaraderie. And that's something I missed from the fire department, right?
Yeah.
Being out of the fire department and my guys, my crew, my boys, they still keep me involved. They always call me up and say, hey man, we're going to meet up or whatever. So I still have that, but you don't have the in the firehouse ball busting good times, right?
Yeah.
Riding each other.
And I get that. I grew up. My grandfather was a firefighter, and they practically raised me to a degree. So I spent a lot of time at the firehouse hanging out with him from the time I was a kid till I was 19, 20 years old. I'd go on calls with them. They'd all get a call and leave out, and I'm at the firehouse answering the phone for them.
That's
so I got to hang out in this
fire department.
Yeah.
All my buddies, when I was 16 years old, back home, we in school, like I said, I grew up in a rural country, and when there was a fire during the day and you're in school, they didn't have enough people. They pulled you out of school to go to the firehouse. But all my buddies, all my friends were firemen. They were on the fire department, and I was like, man, I'd be hanging out with them, and next thing you know, I wind up at the firehouse. They go on call, and I'm stuck. I'm like, this sucks. I just want to do it with them. And I kind of getting further into the story. Sorry, but and you know what? Hey, can we raise a glass for just a minute? I don't know if my dad's on here, but
we can.
Today is my dad's 70th birthday.
Oh, damn.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Cheers, Dad.
Happy
Cheers.
Cheers.
So anyway, I went home one day and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I want to join the fire department with my buddies. And she said, absolutely not. I said, but I'm there all the time with them. She said, no, too dangerous. And then my dad was a truck driver. He was gone all week, right? He comes home and he says, I said, Dad, I want to join the fire department with my buddies. What'd your mom say? She said, it's up to you. He said, all right. So he signed the paper. and after all my years of working, when I finally retired, my mom said, I never not liked you doing it. I was just worried about you. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of glad you're out.
Sorry, that's just a very legitimate, real story where you're like, can you do this? No. Well, mom said you get to decide. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just perfect. Because every one of us has pulled that shit and one thing or another.
Right.
Yeah.
And my kids try it all the time.
Have you done any signs for your old station?
I have not. No, not the old station. I have not. I've done some for the guys.
Okay.
If you guys see the Pioneer Pub, that one, and that's actually a good point to bring up because I have some of the ones I saw that you posted, the Village Bar, Brennan's. I have several signs. Yeah, that one there. Actually, have you heard of them yet, Mike?
No, I haven't.
They're opening a distillery.
Oh, really?
It's one of the oldest bars in St. Louis. 1879.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that sign for him. That is actually that's probably one of the coolest ones. First coolest one I did. And they have an old barn out in the back, and you guys see still it is a beautiful place. And they're getting ready to start making juice here soon. But I've got several pieces that are in bars and restaurants. The Rack House here in St. Louis. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. They got about 100 and some bottles of bourbon. Great place to go try bourbons out. Did some for those, but I've also done some home bars. Like I said, Bernie Lovers, the global brand ambassador. Oh, there you go. The global brand ambassador for Heaven Hill. I've done a sign for him. But yeah, the Pioneer Pub. That's my buddy we call him Wilma. His last name's Wilmarine, but we call him Wilma. And he's Irish. He hit me up, and that's what's really cool about that side of things when you're doing private home bar signs. Is I get to use my creativity, right? It's not a logo. It's not. I get to. So he sent me some stuff, and I'm like, "Are you really sold on that?" And he's like, "Well, let me see what you got." And I did that. He goes, and he's just blown away. That's the best part, So yeah, I do home bar stuff too. Now the Home Sweet Home one, that was actually I sent that to, what is it? The breast cancer. Gosh, what was it? It's a breast cancer group out of Texas. I sent that to them for a piece for their auction, a benefit auction.
Nice. Ben, hold on here. Ben's got another one here. I'll try not to kick you out of the stream after this, Ben. But it looks like you may have done one with Kiss here as well too.
Man, dude, that is actually a great. So funny story, and I'll try to make it fast. And that was actually a lot of fun because I thought I screwed up bad when I was carving that out. So what that is it's 3 or 4 pieces of cedar, and I'm a huge Kiss fan. And if you know anything about Kiss, you knew last year they said this is our final tour. They came to St. Louis, and my buddy Ray, his son Chase, he was, I think, what was he, 9 or 10 at the time. He got tickets for the Kiss concert. He loves Kiss. 9, 10-year-old kid. I'm like, that's awesome. And he got them for Christmas. And I said, did Santa Claus forget I'm the biggest Kiss fan, right? And so I went with him. And on the way home, he said, "Hey, Uncle Matt." And I said, "What's up?" He goes, "You still making that signs?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you make me something with Kiss?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." I said, "How much money you got in your piggy bank?" He said, "God, what did he tell me?" He said he had like $7 in a Target gift card. I said, "We'll figure something out." So I came home and laid that out, and I carved it for him. And we met up for breakfast one day, and I gave it to him, and he's like, "So I guess I got to pay you now, huh?" I said, "It's good, buddy. We're all right." Yeah.
No, that's
awesome.
That's cool. And what I love about it is it's from there on the screen. It almost looks like the same size as like an album cover. And I don't know if
it is the same size as an album cover.
Yeah, I'm a nerd for stuff like that. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun. So what I was saying, so if you go back to that real quick, and I'll tell you if you look at the faces, right, when I'm carving, all the black. No, I take that back. The white is carved out, right? Mm-hmm. All the black is still the right flat wood. So imagine no color on that, and I'm looking at this going, you can't tell what any of that is. It looks like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. What the? And it wasn't until I was actually, I think that video, the making video, is on either on my website or on my YouTube. Mm-hmm. And until you start putting color to it, you couldn't really realize what it was. It was neat. It was actually neat to watch come together.
No, that's just another extra cool thing. Like I dig that quite a bit. If it wasn't for whiskey signs, I think there's like a niche for something like that because that's just cool. That's excellent wall art for me. Especially.
There's a wood carver I know that's what he does is all like old album covers.
Oh, that would be cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So when you were explaining earlier how you're sanding down a lot of these barrels, obviously to get through the wear and whatnot. And a couple of the ones you flashed up and I've seen here in finishing, there's some really nice figure going on in some of that wood. Do you ever hit some of these and you're going, holy cow, that's some amazing figure in that oak or something?
The grain?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's man, I don't know if I can, that one don't have, a little bit.
That one had some I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Like right in here.
Yep.
Yeah. This oak is just beautiful, man. I just love it. I love oak. And it's a very hard wood, of course. Mm-hmm. So it really wears my bits out a lot faster. But that's okay. That's all right. Makeawoodsign.com. buy your bits there, and he'll sharpen them for you too.
Nice.
Really? That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Now, I know I have a couple more pictures of some of the signs here. I got to roll back up. Let's see here. Those are the gym. Oh no, the only one I have too much of any.
Go to Maddie next. Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, definitely go
Okay.
to Maddie next, because the Rua is going to be one that probably
Smacks you in the face.
a little bit. She slaps the Rua is going to slap you a bit. I think it's got some powerful.
It's going to take your palate over.
Yeah, it's going to kill everything else that's there.
It's going to numb the gums.
It is.
No, well, it's not. It's not like the country ham. It's just different. It's intense.
It's the port they used on that. When we were talking to him was a wet barrel, so it has a heavy port influence on the Rua. Yeah,
I like those though.
Well, then you should be happy.
I like a good port, actually.
Well, then maybe this would be up your alley. I think it's a little strong. I like it with a drop or two, but that's because the Rua is at like 61.7. But
yeah, this Maddie Gladden it's also a bonded and bond, right?
Yep.
Approved from Spirits of French Lick, Alan Bishop. What a cool dude that guy is too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I did some homework. I
saw the post. I'm like, hey, he went over all the whiskeys. He looked into it. Damn.
Yeah, I did. I want to know what I was getting myself into, man.
There you go.
Hope we're not leading down the wrong path. But yeah, Maddie Gladden, that's just another thing that's a kick-ass story. I mean, just about who she was like that. For me, I could listen to the story and you could have put anything in front of me and I probably would have been happy with it. I mean, some lady that's, a madam at 2 different whorehouses has had 4 or 5 husbands. Number 3 is the same as number 5, and she shot him in the face.
Oh wait, I ran that call.
and maybe
I ran calls like that. You're like, what?
And maybe she didn't, have an affair with P.T. Barnum for a while. It's just a cool life. And Alan's right. How many times can you honestly say that you saw a whore on parade? But she was in a parade. She basically sponsored the parade. And I would have paid to see that myself. That's just.
I'm sure you would, Patrick.
Wouldn't be the first time you paid for a horse.
Holy balls!
There we go. That's where we're going.
Wow. See, it took him an hour, and I don't even think he's drinking.
Hey, Matt said he was missing the ball busting.
I made a great joke about that. I'll tell you after the show.
Now I forgot where I was.
To it.
Maddie was a whore, you said.
Oh, well, she was a madam. She was in charge of everyone. But no, like to be able to be someone who puts the finger up to the society around you, is looking down on you. I always like that person. So,
yes.
so anyone who's like, we want to have a parade. Well, I'll sponsor it, but I get to have my own horse and buggy with the only white horses in the state. And I'll have a black carriage, and my horse will be out there waving at everybody. Sorry, there's no bigger you than that.
Well, there's also the story of what is it? I think some of the local women were not approving of naked mannequins and put them all in the or statues or something all in the windows, so when they walk by they could see.
Yeah.
She was always just thumbing her nose and finding some way to give the middle finger to.
She bought like
down.
old Roman statues that were naked. Like, well, it's art.
Yeah,
I've never heard any of this. I'm not. Look this up.
Yeah,
Did
Alan talk about it on the show, on you guys' show when you had him on?
Oh, we had him on when he was to talk about this when it first came out, and that's where we learned about most of it. And then it's fucking hysterical. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Oh, wait. Emily's saying that she was a consummate professional. Sure.
Call it what you want, Emily. A lady of the evening.
Yeah.
Oh, and no, Mark. No one is paying for donkey shows in Mexico here. It's not happening.
Only because we can't get into Mexico yet.
And if you don't know, next week Mark is actually going to be coming on our channel to talk about some of the awards he has won at Silver Fox Distillery in its inaugural year. He's already landed some golds, some silvers. It's pretty exciting for our friend. So we'll be talking to him next week.
Yeah, you know what he needs? He needs a. Oh yeah, all right.
Do we talk about the donkey show that's going down later this week?
That's what he needs.
Sorry, Mark. What'd you say? Sorry.
I said he needs a sign to commemorate those gold medals.
Oh, hey, I think he might take one if he can actually get across the border to get there, because he's that's I think that'll be something that might help take off, because it's a distillery. If you're a science fiction fan, it's something you want to go to, because it is fully geared towards you. I mean, there's Daleks from Doctor Who. There's the car from Doctor Who. I mean, the HAL 9000 picks what songs you're playing, for God's sakes. It's really set up as something as a cool little tourist destination, besides having fantastic spirits.
That's cool.
So we're waiting for the border to come down. Let's hope.
Yes, in a big way.
Emily, that was Mike. That doesn't surprise me. I'm not even putting that on the stream, Mike. You can just stop writing stuff in the chat. All right, fine. We'll go back to it. Just Mike said something about there's a list of what I'll do for $20, and I don't know if that's accurate, but maybe, we don't know.
$20, buddy.
That's right.
You never know how much you need at any point.
That's a bottle of Old Tub.
See?
Right.
There you go. Yep.
All right, and I'll be honest with you, I really like that one too.
I do too.
When we did that tasting, that was a great one. I liked.
I haven't had that one, but no, I believe that quite a bit. So
yeah. I tell you what a character that Freddie. No, man, he was he's I'd love to sit down with that dude, him and his dad, and just talk. You know.
Yeah.
They are characters, man.
It's what everyone wants to go do a tour and stuff. I'm like, I'd rather spend 40 minutes with the both of them.
Yeah.
Just talking about whatever. Even if it's listening to them bitch about what went wrong that day, I'd be okay with listening. You know?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite interviews is when they were talking about when they were at the what was it? The Masters when they were taping all the Masters, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Beam Satori is like, here's your script, and here's your script. And Fred looked at Freddie and said, F that, and threw him away. I'm like, that's my kind of people right there. Yeah.
No,
I think it's really cool. I mean, just hanging out with you guys and doing this is really fun for me, right? And to do this, but to hang out like Jason Bronner and Bernie Lubbers, when I got to hang out with them guys and have dinner with them, and just to listen to their stories. Of course, have you guys ever sat down with Bernie and the whole bottled and bond and all that? And that dude, his knowledge just makes him brain go. You know, he's amazing. But it's fun. And Freddie Johnson, man, that's another guy. I want to sit down with that dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've talked to him a couple of times, and it's like you said, it's people who have a wealth of knowledge and almost don't feel like they have it, and they're just like talking at random about stuff, and you're like, it's like, fuck, I need a notebook and just to play catch up with what's going on, and you're like, wait, slow down, I want to come back. What did we do here, and how did this work? And for them, it's just all like, it's not even secondhand, it's just like background knowledge that just flows out. That's what I love about people like that, is just that most of them are so very willing to share that knowledge too. And it's not as like standoffy as it may have been in the past. A lot of people are very helpful and want you to become knowledgeable so that you can help kind of respect and appreciate everything that's going on, especially their product. You know.
And aren't we all the preachers of their products, right? If it's not us out there saying, "Hey, try this. This is really good," or do that, they don't have a business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's kind of like, hey guys, my signs. I need the
Well,
business.
given that most people in the spirits, and I'll say specifically whiskey, are generally pretty cool. I mean,
They
have you
are.
ever encountered anyone who's been difficult or not receptive to?
Mike,
You don't have to name
I'm not going to
anybody.
answer that.
Yeah.
You don't have to use a name.
No,
It could just
okay.
be yes.
I'm not going to use a name.
Don't use a name. Just say
I'm
what
not
their
going to
whiskey
use a
is.
name. And this dude, I sent, cause like I said before, man, I hustle every day, and I bust shit out. I'm throwing messages out on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and I'm doing whatever I can, right? Get my stuff out there, because I'm not putting it in front of people's eyes. They ain't seen it. They ain't talking about. They're not buying it, right?
Yep.
My mom always said, "It don't hurt to ask. All they can do is say no," right?
Yep.
I send that out. I sent stuff out to. I cannot even tell you, like, the whole celebrity bourbons and that. If there's a celebrity that is made a bourbon, I've sent a message to them. Chris Stapleton, Kid Rock, all these people. If you know any of those people, tell them they need to buy a sign. But I sent them all to them, and I sent out a mass message. Hell, you guys probably got it when I was at Bourbon Bistro, right? I was going to be at Bourbon Bistro. Me and Jason Bronner and Bernie, we were going to do a little meet and greet and fireside chat thing. And
Nice.
there is another podcaster, blogger, vlogger, whatever you want to call him, sent me a message back and said, "Quit spamming me with your stuff. If Jason wants me to know, he'll let me know." And I'm like, right on, dude. Right on.
Yeah.
That's that is something that
That is the.
I
But
think-
I will tell you, that is the only time that's happened.
okay.
And everybody else, everyone, I'm not even joking. All the names that I've already mentioned has hit me back on Instagram. Freddie Johnson, the Nose, the Peggy Nose Stevens, and these. Everybody has seen my work, and I've sent them messages. They call me. They are not calling me. They send me messages back. "Hey man, your work's really good. If you need something, we'll let you know." But that's the only dude that gave me attitude. Yes. Yeah.
But and I know it is. I think I could say we've run into that once or twice, but for the most part, not. But there are some people of arrogance, and it'll come back around on them. Is the best way to put that.
Yeah. There's another guy that I don't know. I'm pretty laid back kind of guy, and I'm not pretentious or snobby. And if you're that kind of person, I don't really need to be with you anyway.
Well, I think we're very similar, and it's like,
Yep.
well,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to get along with you if we hang out, so that's not the greatest thing to do. I'm probably going to say something I shouldn't about the fourth or fifth time I'm hanging out with you, and it's not going to go the right way.
Right.
But
the bourbon community has been just they really has been very incredible and supportive. Martin Duffy, you guys know him, the ambassador for Glencairn. That dude, Martin, I love you, brother. Cheers to you. That dude just blew my shit up. He put me on every page that he's involved in, and I'm like, who is this guy? I don't even know this dude, and he's blowing my shit up. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. So him and Steve Akeley, man, dude, come on. That guy, of course, St. Louis dude, right? I hit him up, and he's like, "You're St. Louis, brother? Hell yeah, you're in." So I did a podcast with him and McNew and all them guys. And actually, that's how I got in with Jason Bronner and what's his name from Independent State down there?
I'm going to mispronounce his name.
but do it anyways.
Yeah.
No pressure.
And
Hold on here. We got to make this.
Hold on.
We got to make this right. There you go, Mike. What is it?
No, I'm not going to do it.
But anyway, Jason Bronner, when I was on the ABV network and did the podcast with them, it was Jason Bronner. And that was another one. I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was just me and Steve. And, whoo, boy, man, we drank some bourbon that night. It was a lot of fun. But it was McNew and Jason Bronner. And, oh, my God, I'm sorry. I can't remember your name. Sorry. But the dude from Independence Dave. And, but it opened those doors, right? And can't talk about it. We've discussed it, but some of the signs that I did opened up a lot of doors for me that has got me into some of the bigger distilleries and getting my work out there. So, and I am so appreciative of that, right?
Well, and that's when you make a good product for people, that's usually what is supposed to happen. You know, and you're supposed to get that passed on, and people are supposed to have some great word of mouth. And we know Martin, he is so selfless with his time, with all that he does. It's pretty impressive. Just when you think of how many different events that he's usually a part of, just with Glencairn, I don't know if I could keep my schedule straight. I mean, I know with the pandemic, it was nothing, but on a normal year, I almost think he's going out to something every other weekend. And he's been nothing but nice and helpful to a lot of the people that I know.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude. I can't wait to meet that guy.
Though I know when we were talking to him, he was saying that the Glencairn logo was technically copyrighted, and I think I just had changed our logo like 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. So I was like, well, that's a good thing to know, because I just got rid of that.
Well,
and I'm like, and I didn't really ask to use it, so.
In the fire service, we call that appropriating. We don't call it stealing. We appropriated.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, but that's and you used my.
I was just going. Mark was saying I met a real sick distillery owner once. After a half hour, I introduced myself, and you could hear a pin drop. He knew his stills were the size of my test stills. I'm okay with being there for that type of moment too. So
it was really good. I like that one too.
That one, and I thought
sure I had that yesterday. Like I said, at the Bourbon Society event, somebody had that there.
Well, and I know the guys at the St. Louis Bourbon Society had Alan come out and go into some of the old beer and some of the old cellars that were underground and capture some of the yeast. And I know he's making a whiskey from that for them. And hell, it's probably only a year or two old now, but I've been waiting to see where that goes, because that was when I first heard of the St. Louis Bourbon Society. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, this sounds like a hell of a lot of fun and some interesting people. Yeah, if they're going to go down that path. So
there's a lot of good, and I can tell you there's a lot of good things with that organization that's coming up too. They got some, of course, like everybody else, COVID really put the setback on things, but they got a lot of neat things coming up.
They in your area, well, the Total Wines in your area, they have a couple of Matty Gladden picks, so you can get something a little bit more unique, and even though it's big box stores, some people don't like that versus mom and pop, but they're pretty good picks. The guy, I'll say his name. I shouldn't be afraid. People butcher my name constantly every single day, but that's not it. it's Wybrink. Wybrink or Webrink?
Yeah. I know.
That's the Independence Dave guy.
Yeah. The Independence Dave.
Don't ask me to spell it. Yeah.
Man, I'll be able to think tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to.
Andrew. Yeah, they sat in. Them guys they're the ones that sat in when I was on with the ABV network. Really cool dudes.
All right. Now I'm not going to push you, but I know we like to don't keep people here too much over an hour, and we're a little over. So I'm gonna. Well, I mean, I don't know what you got going on. I know you wanted to get up to the Blues game. We don't want to get you in trouble with that.
Yeah, hopefully.
But we'll see what you think of the Rua, and you might need a drop or two for that one once you get to it. but it is
Okay.
one that I think picks up some color of
Go
the
Blues.
barrel.
Oh wow, it's really extended on the nose, right?
Yeah, she's got some kick, but there is so much port in that. It was the first thing we had that I think we said was a port bomb, where it was like we've had sherry bombs and other stuff where it's like that took over the.
But the flavor is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what that one we got. I was like, wow, there is like so much wine flavor in this, but yeah, it's got some kick.
Yeah,
Man, I'm trying to think of the one that we drank yesterday. Oh my god, yesterday was our day. I drank one with another person. I was like, and same thing. And hell, it may have been this. I don't know, but it smelled of port, right? And I like pork. That's good, dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one of the few strong ones. And yes, Emily, the Rue is sexy as fuck. It is. It's a damn. It's one of those ones that will get me in trouble because I can, especially around the holidays, I could damn near slam something like this without a problem. And I think I'm gonna go back and have a little more just because I can.
Why not?
Exactly. Why not?
But yeah, this one
amazing. I really like that. I really like it.
And we'll see. Because I know I'm gonna get another their original Rue before it was finished, and that is what did we come to a conclusion? Apple cinnamon bear claw with nuts is what the normal Rue is. Yeah. It is with some frosting on top. The normal Rue is delicious in its own right, but this is just they have some great one-offs and one finishes from them, and so it's if you can get down to Charleston, is it Charlotte, North Carolina, definitely stop over and check them out because it is.
And what does Rua mean?
Redhead.
Red, yeah.
Celtic for redhead.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And that interview was great. He's just a ton of fun too. That's the best part. Is
now about when you say he's a ton of fun because my homework. So, Ollie Mulligan and then Patrick Quinn. That was his grandpa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ollie Mulligan, then Patrick Quinn, and then the distiller is Michelle, and Ryan is the co-owner distiller. So who's he?
Ollie is the owner, and he's hysterical to talk to. He's someone that I feel like, and I don't want to give if you were in an English pub, just because he's got the accent, you could listen to him. I could listen to him talk all night. He just has a great accent, and he's got great stories.
Awesome.
And he's just fun.
He's a fun character. Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say is actually the best part about what we're doing is meeting people like you and distillers, and everyone has a really unique story and is an individual rather than trying to be like a cookie cutter image. A lot of people have got to the stage in their lives where they're ready to be themselves.
Right.
And that's what I think is like the best part, because everyone is just portraying what that is. And for the most part, it shows what everyone is in generally pretty good people, and it's just neat. Sorry.
But that's it, Patrick. That's been like the best part of this ride for me is the whiskeys are fantastic, but the people behind them are what's amazing, and getting to know them. The same thing. Your signs are fantastic, but hearing your story and getting to hear you and sit with you for an hour and chat, that's the best part of all this.
Yeah, really, and same thing for me too, and especially on the bourbon side, and getting to know all you people. And the signs for me is truly my therapy. When somebody orders a sign, I want anybody to know that when the signs were therapy for me. I go out to the garage, I'm by myself where I need to be, and I jam out my 80s hairband rock Kiss, and I'm focused on exactly what I'm doing, and I'm good. And that's where I needed to be, and it got me to where I am right now. And to be able to sit with you guys and talk to people and get my product out there, it's not really my product, and it's my story. And the reason, and Patrick hit me up today and said, "Are you comfortable doing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Here's the thing, man. When growing up in the fire department, we trained every day. Every day you train, and you train, and you train, you train, you train for doing the job. Nobody trains you for your brain. Nobody says that. And as an old guy, because I'm an old guy now, you weren't going to raise your hand. You weren't going to be the one to raise your hand and say, "Man, that really screwed me up. You know, I'm having bad dreams or anything." You're a fireman. You're tough. You just didn't do that. And so, like I was telling Patrick earlier, is to get my story out there. I've had a lot of people from around the country, man, reach out to me and say, "Hey, man, thanks for sharing your story. I really appreciate it." Listen, there's nothing to be embarrassed about it. I think that's a bad stigma to have on it, on mental health. And so don't do that. Find your woodworking. It may not be woodworking. It may be distilling. It may be brewing beer or cross stitching or knitting or whatever that is. Find your thing that gives you peace and do that.
Mm-hmm. And that's something you told as a kid, and then I don't think you come back to a little bit later on in life. Like you step away, and then you come back to it as like what does kind of bring harmony to everything. And once you start doing that, things start to a little bit fall back into place again.
Yeah, I think we get so involved in our lives and our styles and what we're doing in our work and family and this and that and blah blah blah. I tell you, brother, since I retired, I've had more time to stop and think about what the hell did I do with all that time? You know what I mean? You're just flowing through the motions. You're flowing through the motions, and now, well, I slowed down and I got time to think and figure shit out.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
but that was coming for me. So I'm sorry.
That's what I was gonna say. It's deeply encouraging for me hearing your story. I haven't been through what you have, and people that follow me on social media, I've openly talked about it, but I've struggled with depression and early on in life, suicidal thoughts. When I was a teen, early 20s, I went through a stretch about 7 years ago of it again, a real battle with it. And, it's just when you hear people that have fought through and come out on the other side, it kind of, I don't say it's reaffirming, but it strikes a chord deep down, because it's like, people have come through this, you've come through this, and if it hits, you can do it again. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things is what you've said is find something to put yourself into when you're in that dark place. Something I've found for me is, when I get outside of myself and I start serving others, that's where all that stuff kind of goes away, and you forget about it, and you can start to move on and you can start to grow. But yeah, I'm
sorry.
I was going to say, just sharing our stories, what we've been through, and just making it that, as Emily said, and I think you said early on, it's okay not to be okay, and recognizing that. And when you recognize that, I'm not okay, I need to get some help.
Yep.
And that's,
and don't let it come to a point.
That's okay.
Don't let it come to a point where it's going to ruin your life at first and you do something stupid.
Right.
If you recognize it, which I didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't recognize it, and come to find out later, and as things went on, other people recognized it, but they wouldn't say anything to me about it. I mean, including my wife. Nobody would say anything, and until it all fell apart is when I'd start putting pieces together. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. But now, you know what, man? I can sit here and have a drink with you guys, and I'm not drinking to go to sleep, because I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares so bad. I was getting the only way I could sleep was hammered. So I can have a drink with you guys, and it's cool. I found a purpose in my life. Who knew that it was going to be this? And all I can say is be good to yourself, be good to others, and order a sign.
We like that.
People, I need your help.
Well, and Emily was just saying thank you for your honesty and your work, just because that does come through. And Mark K was saying that's right. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm moving back. I got stuck on the jumping through stuff, but it is interesting how it all comes together. I'm sorry, this roux is just kind of it's brought me back. I got past the deep side of it. Now it's just it's all warm and happy with this one for me right now.
I gotta tell you, man, we were worried about that proof, but this is actually, to me, honestly, and I'm not a high proof person. This is one of those that the caramel, the mouthfeel, it covers the palate so much, and maybe it's because we drink all these other ones, but you don't get that 123 proof. I just usually preface that because most people see it and do that, but I think this is more for me. It drinks like around 50-ish, maybe a little less in that ballpark. And so I think that Maddie Gladden, that 100 proof, had more fire to it than this does.
Mm-hmm.
I would say so. Yeah, she's got a little. She does slap you around a bit. That one. Yeah. Now I know you're doing with your signs. You're trying to get it, and you are in some of the festivals. What are some of the festivals that you're coming up at? If people are going to, they can actually stop out and see your work.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I've got my application in to get into the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. It is one of my goals. I've been kind of niche marketed to the bourbon barrel, but I do have a wine barrel out there that I want to expand my business into the wine barrel business. There's a lot of wine, so do that, and then I also want to take my shop on the road. People love to watch me carve signs, man.
I bet so.
Yeah,
that's cool festival stuff right there.
Right, and like I said before, that it gets me to the people that I need to get to, right? The people in front of the eyes that need to see it.
Yeah,
the clientele. So hopefully I'll get into that. I know there's the Midwest Bourbon Fest, Whiskey Fest in Indiana. So I'm trying to find those, and if you guys know, if anybody knows of bourbon festivals around that are going to be happening, let me know. If it's because I find. When I was doing my research on it, I was finding that is there vendor areas there's a lot of bourbon festivals, but is there a vendor area kind of thing, right? So if you guys know, anybody knows of anything, hit me up, let me know.
Is it the ACSAs? But they're expensive to go to, so we'll see on that one ourselves.
They pay me to go. I'm entertainment.
You're going to be there? That's at
no,
December?
I'm entertainment, is what I'm saying. They pay me. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I wish.
I was like, hey, man, if you're in
I ain't all that, brother.
Man. Give us the hookup.
Yeah. I was like, if we can get the entrance fee to be what it is for all three of us, for one, we might be able to go on to that one.
Yeah. Hook me up, bro.
We'll see what we can do. We'll lean on Becky. We'll see what she'll give us. We don't know, but yeah.
Hey, Mom always said, "Don't hurt the ask. All they can do is say no."
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So thank you for. I was going to say we're getting kind of close to about an hour and a half here. So we don't want to keep you on too much longer. And I know I've been putting up the website here throughout the show for where it is.
I don't even see the comments. I didn't want to.
That's okay. That
squirrel,
That's fine. But I was gonna say I put it up a couple times just to go to Old Man Bay Signs. Check them out. That's where you can contact Matt if you want to get a sign done. You want to do something unique, and like he was saying, it doesn't have to be something that you have a logo of. It's something he can work around. And I think that's what I love. If you're going to have a home bar, this is something really unique and personalized, and is kind of that extra special touch to your home bar. I mean, a lot of people will have a sign. I'm like, imagine if you took, Jim B, the one right behind you have that long one, and put your family name and your own, whatever on it. it's going to be something that sticks with you that probably your kids are going to take with you to their bar, or may abscond with in their 20s to a college frat house. I just feel like that might happen. What happened to my stuff?
That's kind of a cool thing that I personally enjoy about my signs is it's my legacy, right? My signs are going to be handed down through children and grandchildren. Yeah. And, I'll never know that, but man, how cool is that, right?
Well, your old elk one is going to be there as long as they're open or longer. That sign's going to be there. I'm sorry, I'm a history buff, so I love stuff like that you can feel like you let go down generations, or 50, 100 years later, you can put your hand on it and say, I know where this came from. That type of stuff it gets me all excited.
Brother. Me too. Yep.
And there's too many places they won't let you touch that stuff because, man, I went to Peru and that shit's all gated off with ropes. I may have leaned over a bit and broke some rules, but they're pretty stingy in some places with touching history, and I think that's the best part. So, all right. Now, like we said, next week we will be having Mark Townsend on from Silver Fox Distillery to talk about. That's one of the Daleks he makes, and he has brought some of those around to sci-fi conventions and the stuff down in San Diego, and everything he does with that is for charity. They're actually working ones, and they'll shoot CO2 or water at people, which I think is fantastic. Which he almost got kicked out of one of the conventions he was at until I think it was John Esposito was inside the Dalek and he had to prove he was inside of it. And they're like, oh, it was someone famous inside. It's okay, But up until that point, he was in some trouble. But remember to stop out next Monday for that. It's going to be a really great show. Keep an eye out for stuff on YouTube, on Facebook over this weekend. We're going to be stopping at a few different distilleries. We'll be talking about those online, or maybe even doing a live review from them about some of the stuff they have that we're tasting that day. So just keep an eye out for some fun this weekend. And yeah, probably as the night goes on, it might get a little bit more wacky. And that's just the way it's going to be when you stop at a few places in a day. So, Matt, I want to thank you so much for being on, sharing your story, and sharing a few drinks with us tonight. Yep. The stuff you're making, like I said, is fantastic, and I would love to have it in my house or my bar if I was doing it. And might be something we're looking forward here in the future to, as we put some stuff together with some other things that are going on.
I'm just saying your logo would look really awesome on a barrel. Is all I'm saying.
Well, it might be happening. It might happen 3 times with us. That's the best part about that. So thank you, everyone in the chat, for stopping out. We appreciate you for doing that and stopping with us and having a chat. Remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone out there.
Cheers.
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 Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Have it in. Some more.